miniature picture graves eerily lighted by flickering candles. In her sunsuit that morning at the family flower shop, where butter cookies were also for sale, Twee appeared to be about 13, but after changing to come with us, she emerged as a 26-year-old woman in a lovely spring dress. She was precisely as old as Earl Wood's last contact with his best friend. In the candlelight, she looked like a saint. Using the aged version of the drawings sketched from Wood's memory by an LAPD artist, we fashioned a matchbox monument and offered a prayer to Lady Buddha that just one man in this hall of spirits was still alive. "Why Lady Buddha?" I asked Twee on the stroll back to the car. "Because you will need 1,000 eyes and 1,000 hands," she said, "to find Mr. Phong." Vietnam looked as Vietnam has always been imagined, even if you imagined it from a squad bay in Quantico, Virginia in 1968. "Were you in the military?" asked the Secretary for Press Affairs at the Vietnamese Embassy in Washington. "I was in the Marine Corps," I said. We stared at each other across a long lacquered table. "John Wayne?" he asked. "Hardly," I replied, though Wayne never shot anybody either. "And you want a visa to go to Ho Chi Minh City, Phan Thiet, Da La, and Nha Trang. Why? To play golf?" "To play golf?" Providentially, almost miraculously, Nick Faldo had just designed the country's 6th golf course in Phan Thiet, Wood's old theater of war. "Oh, and while I'm there," I said casually, "I may ask around a little for a lost South Vietnamese soldier unheard from since the fall of Saigon." The Secretary smiled. "I'm adding Hanoi," he said softly. "I have a friend there, a Mr. Nhi, who could help. But you must check in at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs the moment you arrive in Ho Chi Minh City." Before I left for Hong Kong, I telephoned Oliver North for advice. I didn't know the notorious Iran-Contra Marine, but I knew he was an expert on both Vietnam and intrigues. "If you accept their keepers," he warned, "then you'll only see what they want you to see." Deciding to bypass the ministry, I hired the car and set out with Han and Twee to see the city that used to be called Saigon. We stopped off at a war museum where I turned a corner and ran into the retired television correspondent, Edwin Newman. "Have you been here all this time?" I asked. He laughed and introduced his wife. They were on a cruise and had come ashore just for the day. When I described my quest, Mrs. Newman clutched her husband's arm the way a wife might hold tight to an old fireman at the clanging of a bell. On the lawn outside the museum, several relics gleamed in the sun, including a U.S. Air Force fighter jet, a Huey helicopter, a number of machine guns and rockets, even an old French guillotine, whose rusty grimness was scarcely relieved by the photograph of its final honoree, an unusually short fellow with an understandably put-upon expression. "It not Mr. Phong," Han said dryly. On Earl Wood's second tour in Vietnam, he had been an advisor to the deputy chief of Binh Thuan Province, Colonel Nguyen Phong, whom Earl nicknamed Tiger. "I always knew there was another Tiger," Tiger Woods told me. "I didn't know him as Tiger Phong, I just knew him as Tiger One." Does Tiger Two feel a connection? "A stronger one than I can explain to you," he said. "From all I hear, I'm exactly like him." Some 8 months after Saigon fell, Eldrick Woods was born in California. Starting with E for Earl and ending with K for Coltida, Eldrick was an original name invented by Tida. "Mothers stick kids with names," Earl said. "Fathers have to go along." But on the second day in the hospital, Earl gazed through the glass of the nursery and unofficially rechristened the child Tiger. "Sometimes growing up," Tiger said, "filling out a form or something for school, I'd have to stop for a moment and think, how do you spell Eldrick?" Through missing persons agencies in New York City, Earl had been trying to locate Phong for months before the birth. He would continue trying for years after it to no avail. The two had been closer than friends, brothers. When they weren't fighting side by side, they were playing tennis or practical jokes. Woods schooled Phong on the rudiments of jazz. Phong taught Woods philosophy.